Today, we're going to take a dive into our website and explore all the content, events, and resources we have to offer. It's going to be our OGs, Michelle and I, running through the updates of the Nexus webpage, which we obviously want you guys to visit because we want traffic and attention. So please share it with your friends, and if you have no friends, then with your family, because we're as desperate as you are. But before we move on to it, on a serious note, can I just say that Michelle, who is our tech wizard, has done such an amazing job converging all the work that the team has been doing over the past year, right? A year, you'd say? The outline looks way better. I mean, the UI, looks way better than redacted universities and government's official pages. This is my attempt to not get cancelled on our first YouTube video. So I hope you enjoy. I hope I didn't get cancelled and you enjoy it.
But anyways, moving forward, yes. Okay.
Do we want to move on to the first page, which is the events section?
Yeah, we do have some very exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, so clicking on the events tab, you'll find a list of all of our past and upcoming events. And for each event, you can see a brief description of the date, time, location, and registration details. Our events cover a wide range of topics, but as usual, it is tied to belonging and cultural identity, gender, race, and social inclusion. And you can also actually sign up for our events directly from the website. But before we delve into some of the seminars that we've done and some of the seminars that we're going to do, I quickly wanted to plug the Seated with Strangers event held at Eden Hotel, which is around the Jordan Yamate area on the 18th of March, 2023. Yep. Interesting story, actually. Suleiman, who is a Spice Market boy, who's actually one of the people at the event at a pretty big capacity, was actually neighbors with my family in the early to mid 90s when Christine was introducing me to this guy. She was like, "Oh yeah, do you know this guy, Suleiman?" And I was like, "Why does he sound so familiar?" Suleiman's actually half Filipino, half Indian, and Spice Market is actually such an amazing project. So his work is quite related to the accessibility of South Asian food in Hong Kong, more specifically making halal food accessible for those Muslims in Hong Kong and other people, actually. And so if I ever get a chance to have him on the podcast, I actually want to bring in a photo of my brother and Suleiman as kids. But actually, that's tangent. Back to our scheduled program. Do you have anything to add for the Seated with Strangers?
Yeah, actually I do. Yeah. So this event, Seated with Strangers, Tap Toy, is going to happen at Eden Exchange on this date, and they actually do have their own Eventbrite where you can sign up with. So if you take a look at the screen right now, you will see that in here, there's just a lot of events happening in this event. So for Tap Toy, Seated with Strangers, there are going to be so many like sub-little sessions. For example, we have the Chats Over Cha, community building and collaborative work in Hong Kong, which is where Nexus comes in, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna be showing up with some of our participants in navigating belonging, which we'll be talking about in a bit.
Yes,
we're going to be there on the 18th of March. We also have Harana, a live music series. We also have like a session called Unwrapped. We're doing
storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling and stuff. And that's with like 19th of March and poetry reading with local community creative practitioners, and also a short film screening. So it's going to be so much fun.
It's so much fun. A super packed weekend. So it's going to be super, let's say, accessible and interesting to a wide range of people that are coming. Which will be super, super interesting.
Yeah. And there will be a lot of other like-minded individuals and organizations and communities also at the event. For example, Belonging is working with like Empower You, Foundation for Shared Impact, the ILM by Nadia or Luisa Castro, and Video Global, and just like a lot of different organizations, right? Yeah. They're also going to be at the event. So like, please show up to the event and show some support. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it's a good chance for all of us to get to know giants in the field, right?
Yeah.
People who've been doing so much work over the last decade or 2 decades.
Yeah, pertaining to belonging, like just helping this space grow and all that.
So I also know that prior to recording this, we had a meeting where we nailed down some dates for future seminars to be hosted by some of the affiliates and guests of our organization. So do you want to expand on the details of this?
So we do have a pretty exciting lineup for our future events. So again, on the 18th to 19th of March, we're going to be at Eden Hotel at the Belonging event, Tap Toy. And we have these for our upcoming seminars. So for the April 19th, the 19th of April, we're gonna have Jessica Bradley from University of Sheffield in UK to share her work with us. And for the 22nd of May, it's with Venera Kalikova from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And for June 20th, it's with Melanie Cook from the King's College London. And we're going to have a short summer break. And after the summer break, we're going to come back strong on the 14th of September with Ibra Bad from the Queen's University, Belfast.
Yes, Ibra Bad is actually one of the heads of a project which I'm a research assistant of, which is called the Sino-Literacy project for Muslims in Hong Kong and mainland China. So his work is super interesting and sort of personal to me as well, because in the project that I do, we conduct a lot of interviews with Muslims in Hong Kong to talk about their belonging, their barriers to practicing religion, or stuff that empowers them to practice religion.
Yeah.
And something that's actually super interesting is in this list, Professor Simpson, two of your students are here, Jessica Bradley and Ibrar. Just quite a shock. When I first met Ibrar, I had no idea that Ibrar was a student. Super interesting for me. The connections here are just all over the place.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody knows everyone. A Nexus, that's a Nexus, right?
It's a recurring theme. So the next thing I quickly wanted to talk about was navigating belonging. And this is an opportunity for us to plug in all the hard work that Christine and you have been doing over the last 5 weeks and the stuff that you're going to be doing for the next couple of months. And so, Michelle, what I wanted to ask you was, who are some of the people that we're working with?
So we're currently working very closely with like the Center for Refugees Christian Action, and like we're working with some of the participants like that are from there. And basically this project navigating belonging, exploring settlement for South Asians in Hong Kong through narratives and participatory photography. The project asks us what it means to belong, and our participants take photos, but not just any photos. They're photos that tell their stories, right? So it's kind of like a visual autoethnography work, and in simpler words, it just means that telling their own stories through photographs.
And I think that their stories are quite packed with experiences that's related to how they see themselves fit into Hong Kong's society, right? And another thing that I wanted to point out was actually, if you scroll up, the banner for this is actually snippets from the workshop itself, which shows super cool stuff such as how we're helping our participant take photos, where are they taking photos, and at the workshop itself, like how are we helping them to construct a narrative that they are comfortable sharing with Hong Kong's public. The reason why we're focusing on what these photos will become of is because that we're thinking of like having exhibitions and like a website dedicated for the efforts of this project. So stay tuned. We will have a website for navigating belonging coming up, which I'll be developing. Super exciting. And also hopefully a physical exhibition for that. And when the time comes, we'll update everybody again about that. We're currently almost halfway through the first phase of the workshop and then workshops, and then we're gonna have like 2 more rounds working with, let's say, maybe students or maybe just like people from all walks of life. And I think to break it down, Christine handles or sort of leads the first section of the workshop, where it is a photo voice workshop, right? And then the second half, which is actually led by Michelle, is sort of the digital aspect of it. Which is basically how are we constructing whatever we've learned or touched upon in the past 5 weeks, and how are we going to construct that for others to see and understand.
Precisely, So
actually,
we're super excited.
I am, and that's a great segue into our team. To sort of see who the people are behind the scenes, right?
So I think everybody's familiar with like our team and who's on the team. And the most exciting thing we have to show everybody is that we have 3 new research affiliates with us.
Yes, and this is Chenye, Fancia, and Winnie, who each have super amazing skills and interesting roles within our organization. Chenye actually super clutch. She actually edits a couple of the podcasts and so on. So thank you, Chenya, for that.
Yeah.
Winnie is also part of podcast slash social media. So Winnie actually, if you look at the cover art, Winnie and Michelle come together to sort of do the cover art that we have, because honestly, I'm artistically challenged. I cannot even draw a circle. So it was, forget art. I can't even edit podcasts. Like when it comes to tech and art, I'm so, how do I say this?
Illiterate.
Challenged. So it's nice. It's so nice to have people that are super good at what they do, enjoy what they do, and are coming together for a common purpose, right? And Fancia is a part of our workshops as well. Super insightful thoughts in our debrief. So it's been just great having these three on board with us.
Yeah, actually, like Fancia helps us with like our navigating belonging workshops, and she helps us like take few notes, and it's just so great to have everybody on board, because like all of our research affiliates have been so helpful, and not only helpful, but they bring in so much insight and perspective to this entire thing, and it's such a great time with them.
And a quick reminder is that our members all come from diverse backgrounds and disciplines, but once again, it's that shared common interest in exploring and promoting belonging within the context of Hong Kong. So on this page, you can find out little tidbits about them in their little blurb. So please do check them out. Huge talent that we have here working with us. So always grateful. Which is actually a really good segue to the podcast tab. And the podcast is probably where you've heard Michelle and I, right? Oh yeah, and you can see the cover art there. Super fantastic work done by Winnie and Michelle. I really appreciate the support there. So our podcast, as you know, features interviews with our event leaders and special guests that we have. And each episode dives deep into topics related to belonging. And it also has quite engaging discussions with experts who give us insights and also fresh perspectives on topics that we've already explored. And our podcast is actually available on Spotify and BuzzSprout. Yeah. And it's been a huge learning curve. And I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Jeldrin, who has his own podcast called The Inside Out. So please make sure to check that out as well. Jeldrin actually came in during the early phases of our podcast production and sort of helped us work out how we can make it less demanding on the team itself. Because we started off with video podcasts, which I'm not sure if you guys know or if maybe have seen, which is a task. It's a task to edit, right?
It was so much task to edit that we just gave up eventually. We don't have the capacity for that.
Exactly. And so Joel came in and he was like, hey, why don't you guys first get on this platform called BuzzSprout, which also I want to recommend to any of the other people who are trying to start their own podcast. It's a super cool platform that automatically publishes your work on major platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so on. And another thing he said was start off with just audio, right? Make life easy for yourself. And audio podcasts are generally at the grassroots stage, especially something that's more accessible to listeners, something that's a bit more engaging than having to look at our faces, which don't change too much during the podcast, right? And our podcasts have two main groupings. One is the main series, which is a bit more academic. We talk to professors, social workers, and so on about topics, of course, belonging and so on. And these are generally longer episodes, so around 35, 40, sometimes even up to an hour. And these are released on the first Friday of every month. So please stay tuned for that. And then the second part, which is a bit more informal, where we get to be a bit goofy, is the mini-series. And this is a series where it's really for us, really for you guys to sort of meet the team, right? And see who the people are on our team. And it's sort of a casual chat, really, about all things belonging. And if you've tuned into our earlier episode with Anish, which you can see on the screen, is Navigating Hong Kong's Hidden Gems and Food Culture, a conversation with Anish Mishra. Which is a super cool episode where as you know, Anish, we brought in, and he talked about his journey to Hong Kong, how he's managed to settle in, and the food that he's had in Hong Kong, especially Didi's Karikuri restaurant at Chungking, which has been one of Anish's favorites. So it's a super cool episode that I hope you guys all listen to.
Yeah. And actually, we already have 3 episodes up on BuzzSprout and Spotify. So hopefully we will keep ourselves accountable with the schedule.
Yeah.
We are maybe already late with one of the episodes. So much for holding ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
But we'll try to stick to our upload schedule. And yeah, so please give us some shout outs and show us some support.
And please
support us.
So we're gonna scroll down to the blog section. The blog section is a great resource for anyone that's interested in concepts of belonging. Here we aim to have posts and articles written by our members, and you can already see one up by Professor Simpson, which is coming to Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, and there will be more coming up.
And honestly, if you guys have never actually read any of Professor Simpson's work, his work is super descriptive, interesting, and also he sort of writes in such a way that he's taking you on his journey, right? And this is something when I was reading his field notes that I realized.
Exactly.
Right? And he contextualizes so much, and it's so good because you're able to understand things from his perspective and his little thoughts here and there, which add to the message, right? And so, our blog articles aim to offer a fresh perspective on important issues related to identity and social justice.
And honestly, if you want to contribute to our blog posts, feel free to. It's like one of the spaces where we open up to just like anybody who is like-minded and have thoughts about belonging that they want to share, their works that they want to share. Just feel free to email us and collaborate, right?
It's not restricted to just team members. Although obviously, given that our team is quite diverse, I think it will be quite interesting to hear about the aforementioned topics from various different perspectives. Okay, so Michelle, what other things are there on the website that you want to talk about?
Ooh, actually, you can see that like right here on the screen. Well, actually, for those who are on our podcast, you cannot see anything, right? But for those who are watching like the YouTube version of this, there is an extra tab called Useful Resources, and it's actually just going to be like a directory or repository, like whatever you like to call it, of different interesting resources. And by resources, we don't mean a bibliography. It's not a research paper. You're not going to read through the reference list for that. However, we do have quite a number of things that we want to talk about and share with each other. And for example, we have like research centers, research initiatives, good reads and food for thought, and then social enterprises that we want to just like let everybody know about, some different local communities, and even some creative practitioners. So for example, you can look forward to seeing links to the T-Lang project actually run by Professor Simpson, also on belonging. We have links to other podcasts or maybe like different like useful Instagram accounts like the Green Dreamer podcast and the Brown History Instagram account. And also we'll be having links to other social enterprises and NGOs, for example, Christian Action, obviously, who are like such an important and close affiliate of ours, and other initiatives like the ILM, run by Nadia or Luisa Castro, and also some other local communities, for example, Belonging, Narratives by Us, PME, and we're also going to link you to different like creative practitioners. For example, Sevenos Tai, who is actually the director for We Don't Dance for Nothing, which we actually held a screening for previously. So you will find all these like digestible, accessible, and actually relevant and interesting sources.
Because I think one of the first things, like when we were conceptualizing this in the early stages, one of the things that the prof and us, we wanted to do was to actually make this sort of an academic section where people have links to academic papers and so on. But what we realized is, well, our useful resources section is more of a page so that people who are interested in the topics that we are interested in are able to access the information and resources that we have. Right? Because I think something that's huge is when you walk into this field, into this community, oftentimes some things that are challenging is people pointing you to the right resources and
Exactly.
networking. And so what we've decided to do is to sort of make it as a quote-unquote plug-in for all the other affiliates that we have. And super cool and interesting work that they do. And it also presents an opportunity for you as listeners to look at things and be like, oh, hey, this is super cool. I want to collaborate with so-and-so.
Exactly.
Right? And this is sort of a way for us to be informative, but also focus ourselves on community growth and strength.
Precisely. That's so well put. Because at the end of the day, we want to live up to our name of being the Nexus and trying to be like a good network and an ally for everybody in the field and point everybody towards like the directions they want to go to and bring people together, right?
Exactly.
So the focus is not just on us, but it's about we and our friends, our allies, and everybody who's in the field.
Yeah. And I think that one of the ways that we're able to do that is by being present on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
And something that I actually wanted to hand over to Michelle to talk about is the Instagram page, which I know that her and Winnie have been working super hard on. And I've seen some of the pre-post drafts, and it's looking great, guys. It's actually looking so good. And I think that it's something that I'm super excited to launch. Well, partly because I get a shout out because I'm on a podcast. But more so because can I just say Winnie is so good at art. Like she hand draws whatever you're seeing on the Instagram page or even on the cover art of the podcast. So once again, super, super talented.
And Chenya does the editing for stuff again. Oh my God, it's back to our team again. See?
So if you want to talk more about the Instagram page, go ahead.
So you will see that, like, for those who can see it and for those who can listen to it, we have actually linked our Instagram account at the bottom of our footer. And for those who are just listening, our handle is at nexus.brn. Again, at nexus.brn. And we're gonna not show it on screen right now because like we want to keep it a surprise.
Yeah, we don't want to reveal it to you because we want you guys to go yourselves and check it out and give us more traffic, guys. Please support us. I can't state this enough. Like, we need support.
This is so desperate.
We do. We do.
We're not desperate, but we will benefit from quite a little bit of help.
Is there anything else you're thinking of? Oh yes, the YouTube channel. How could I forget? This is exactly where this video is going to go up. So I'm assuming that if you've already clicked onto this, you're already aware of our YouTube channel, which also hosts seminars that we have, recorded seminars, which again, Chenya is editing. So big shout out to her for that.
So you'll see that this is our fresh new YouTube page, and this is actually a space for some like virtual announcements like the one you're watching, obviously, but it's also where our seminar recordings will go up to. So if you go to our channel and you go under playlist, you see that we have this playlist called the seminar series. We already have one episode up, and that is the one with Julie.
Funny story, Michelle and I came up with this skit actually, and this is once again the early stages of production
where we came up with a skit to have as our banner, our episode 0. Which I thought went somewhat decent. I don't know about that. It was purely comedic. But if this video / podcast gets 100 likes, we'll repost it. No. It's a race to 100 likes, guys. If you get it, we're gonna post it again for your viewership. No, Prof will not allow it anyway.
Okay, so on a couple of closing notes, that is our walkthrough of the updates we have for the websites, and we hope you found it useful and informative. Please remember that the website is constantly updated, so be sure to check back often. Once again, this is our traffic plug. Please check back often. But as always, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time on the Belonging Research Network podcast. Signing out.
Peace.